Welcome to the show, everyone. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the world of Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs.
Using Walter Isaacson's biography as our guide,
Right.
we're going to try to figure out what made this guy tick,
Yeah.
the genius, the craziness, and, of course, the impact he had on the tech we use every single day.
Absolutely.
It's kind of mind-blowing how one person could be so innovative, but also so demanding. So was he really a visionary?
Right.
Or just really good at getting what he wanted?
Well, right from the start,
Yeah.
Isaacson points out this really interesting thing.
Okay.
Jobs was adopted. Now, most people just kind of gloss over that, but think about it for a second.
Yeah.
Imagine growing up knowing you were chosen, like your parents specifically picked you.
Right.
That could make someone fiercely independent, but also maybe give them a need for control. You know what I mean?
Totally. Like he had something to prove.
Exactly. It's like he had to leave his mark on the world.
And he definitely did that.
Oh,
And it's not like his environment discouraged that ambition at all.
right.
Growing up in Mountain View,
Oh, yeah.
when Silicon Valley was just starting out, talk about being in the right place at the right time.
It's like a perfect storm of cutting-edge tech and that counterculture energy, you know?
It's interesting how those two things kind of came together in him.
It's almost like they fused together into his personality.
Right. On the one hand, he's driven by precision and technical mastery.
Totally.
But on the other hand, there's this yearning for simplicity, for elegance.
Right.
And a lot of that probably came from his fascination with Zen Buddhism.
Oh, absolutely. That trip to India.
Yeah.
That wasn't just some youthful adventure.
Right.
It totally changed the way he saw the world.
Isaacson really highlights how much Jobs was drawn to those Zen principles.
Right.
Like intuition and stripping things down to their essence.
Absolutely.
And you see those ideas everywhere.
Ooh.
From Apple's minimalist design to his own personal style.
Exactly. But there's another big influence we can't forget about.
Okay.
His adoptive father, Paul Jobs.
Oh, yeah.
You see, Paul was a machinist.
Oh,
So he instilled in Steve this really meticulous attention to detail and a real appreciation for craftsmanship.
Interesting.
Isaacson actually tells this story about Jobs obsessing over the look of the Macintosh's circuit board.
The circuit board.
Yeah, can you believe that?
That's kind of crazy.
Like, who does that?
Right. No customer would ever even see it.
Exactly. But it just shows his absolute pursuit of perfection, even in the most hidden places.
It's mind-boggling.
It is, isn't it?
It's like he couldn't help but make even the tiniest detail
Right.
absolutely beautiful.
He had to make sure everything was perfect.
But that obsession with detail,
Yeah,
it was a double-edged sword.
it definitely was.
I mean, on one hand, it gave us iconic products.
Absolutely. The iPod, the iPhone.
But it also led to some major flops.
Oh, yeah.
Like that infamous beige toaster Macintosh.
The Macintosh, a classic example of Jobs' vision clashing with practicality.
In what way?
Well, he insisted on a fanless design.
Okay.
He wanted it to be silent, elegant.
Right.
But he prioritized aesthetics over how well it worked.
Yeah.
So you ended up with this beautifully designed machine that constantly overheated.
Oh, wow.
A literal meltdown. It really shows how his personality could lead to amazing things, but also some avoidable disasters.
A real mixed bag.
You could say that again.
It's like he could make people believe anything.
Yeah.
Even if it seemed impossible.
Exactly. Isaacson calls it the reality distortion field.
Kind of like a superpower.
It really is. This ability to just convince people, charm his way out of anything, and inspire his team to do these incredible things.
No wonder Apple was so successful.
It played a huge role. I mean, think about it. Jobs launched all these products. That totally changed everything.
And he convinced the world to buy into his vision.
Over and over again.
But I guess that kind of power can have a dark side, too.
Oh, absolutely.
It's one thing to inspire people.
Right.
But it's another to manipulate them.
Exactly. And Isaacson doesn't shy away from that.
Yeah.
He talks about how Jobs treated some employees.
I mean,
it could be really brutal.
Yeah.
And his personal relationships, they were often full of conflict.
It's strange how someone so charismatic could also be so dismissive of people.
It's that paradox of Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
He could be incredibly persuasive, but also shockingly callous.
And that story about him denying paternity of his daughter Lisa.
It's heartbreaking.
It really is.
It shows a real flaw in his character.
Like he was avoiding responsibility.
Exactly. He put his own ambitions above everything else.
It makes you think. Was this reality distortion field a deliberate tactic?
Good question.
Or did he actually believe his own hype?
That's tough to say.
Yeah.
I think it was probably a bit of both.
In what way?
Well, he was really good at self-promotion.
Okay.
And he knew how to control the narrative.
But at the same time, he really seemed to believe in his vision.
Oh, yeah, like he was on a mission to change the world with technology.
And that belief, whether it was real or not, it was contagious.
Oh, absolutely.
It's amazing how that belief, combined with his demanding nature,
it really is,
fueled Apple's success.
It did, but it also led to his downfall.
In what way?
Well, Isaacson talks about how Jobs' management style and all the power struggles eventually got him picked out of Apple.
Wow. The company he co-founded.
It's kind of Shakespearean.
It is.
This visionary leader brought down by his own flaws.
But that wasn't the end for him.
No, it wasn't.
His time away from Apple led him to Pixar.
Exactly. And there, he helped build this animation powerhouse.
It's crazy to think.
I know, right?
The same guy who changed personal computing also helped create Toy Story.
And Finding Nemo.
It just shows how broad his vision was.
It really does.
At Pixar, he could really explore his artistic side, his love of storytelling.
Maybe that was missing at Apple.
It's like all these threads.
Yeah.
The engineering, the counterculture, the zen.
Yeah. They all come together in his life.
Every experience, every success, every failure, it all contributed to who he was.
This tapestry of brilliance and contradiction.
And that brings us to his legacy.
Yeah.
Steve Jobs died in 2011.
He did.
But his impact on the world is undeniable.
Absolutely.
He left behind a company that's still dominating the tech industry.
And his products are everywhere.
Well, how do we reconcile all of this? The genius with the flaws, the innovation with the ambition. Yeah, it really is a complicated Lego.
It is, isn't it?
I mean, there's no denying the impact of his work.
No, absolutely not.
He changed how we think about personal computing, animation, music, even how we communicate.
It's hard to imagine the world without the things he created.
Yeah, like these devices are everywhere.
They are, aren't they?
But we also have to acknowledge the human cost. You know?
Oh, absolutely.
The pressure, the demanding work environment.
Right, all the stories about burnout.
Yeah, we can't just ignore that.
No, we can't.
It makes you wonder, though.
Yeah.
Could Apple have been so successful without that intensity, without Jobs pushing everyone to their limits?
It's hard to say. Maybe it was necessary.
Yeah, like a trade-off.
Right, between innovation
and ethical behavior.
Yeah.
And it's not just about Jobs himself.
No.
It's the whole culture he created.
At Apple, that pursuit of perfection.
Exactly. It spread to the whole tech industry.
It has, hasn't it?
We celebrate disruption, billion-dollar valuations.
Yeah.
But what about the people who are getting burnt out just to fuel that growth?
It's something we need to talk about.
Especially as tech becomes more and more intertwined with our lives.
It really is.
Jobs truly believed that tech could change the world.
He did.
And in a lot of ways, he was right.
He was.
But now that we rely on these devices so much, we have to ask ourselves,
what's that?
Are we shaping technology?
Right.
Or is technology shaping us?
That's a great question.
Yeah, something to think about.
It is.
As we wrap up this deep dive, I'm struck by just how complex Jobs' story really is.
The brilliance, the flaws.
The innovation, the manipulation.
It's all there.
It's all part of who he was.
What stands out to you?
That's a good question.
Yeah, what will you keep thinking about?
I think I'm left wondering
about
if we're asking enough.
Of who?
Of our tech leaders. Of ourselves as consumers.
Yeah.
Can we demand both innovation and ethical behavior?
That's the question, isn't it?
I think so. And can we have tech advancements without sacrificing people's well-being?
It's a tough balance.
It is, but I hope so.
I hope so, too.
Well, that's all the time we have for today.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us on this journey, Deep Divers.
Thanks for having me.
Until next time, keep those questions swirling.